The other day, I was talking to one of my subscribers, and he was telling me that he felt I do a really good job on my game reviews. Now, this is always nice to hear, being as how I never thought that I'd be good enough or thought out enough to do a video game review. And had it ended there, it would have been all good. But this is what he said next. If you had to give the Mean Greens any number out of 10, what would you give it? I hate review scores. Now, I'm sure you've probably heard someone say this before. I don't like Metacritic or IMDb or game journalists who review games with a scoring system, and everyone has their own reasons as to why. I want to tell you mine. Every time a new game or movie comes out, you always see in the commercials and trailers that the movie is a 9 out of 10. Rolling Stones rates the Titanic a 9 out of 10. And you always get a little tidbit of their review in it as well, like IGN raves, a must-play classic that will find you returning to play it again and again. Now, this is all fine and dandy, but which part do people remember? Do they remember that the game will leave you coming back to play it again and again, or do they remember that it was given a number? Well, most of the time, it's the number. And it will never cease to annoy me when someone says, well, you're an idiot for not liking the new Star Wars because such and such gave it a 9.5. The number's literally worthless, and this annoys me so much because literally every movie comes out, and it's a 9.5. Every single piece of media that can be reviewed is always given a 9.5. And is it because it's actually a 9.5? Well, no. These journalists get money from these movie publishers and game publishers to write a good review, to say the game was great, and the issue is, that game journalist doesn't even have to do a very good job. He could literally say, I hate the game, it was no fun to play at all, and it made me wish I was drowning instead. 9.5. And people would take that, disregard his entire article, and use the number to defend the game they like as a flawless product. And not only is it annoying that these journalists do this, but the fact that they use a number is subjective. A 9.5 for you could not be that great. Sounds stupid, but it's true. However, a 6 could be the best number a certain journalist has ever given a game. And again, who's to know but that guy? The issue is that these guys write an article and basically ask people to disregard everything they say and just look at the number, which, again, is literally a worthless number. Now, going back a bit, you may say, well, there are good game journalists out there who do a very nice review and give the game a fair number, not because they were bought out, but because they actually feel the game isn't worth a 9.5 and is actually worth a 6. And yes, that's true, but you know what the problem is? Those moron consumers who get upset at them for having an opinion. Yeah, so not only do these scumbag journalists write a worthless and lazy review and give the game a high score to make publishers happy and add a little green to their own pockets, but when someone makes a truthful review, it's looked down upon. What the hell? Are you guys serious right now? So we actually want a fake, lazy review, really? Is that what it's come to, is it? And that's the issue with these review scores and a huge reason I'll never do it. So let's get onto that side of the argument. I'm never going to do review scores. Firstly, because I take pride in my reviews. I love and respect the time it takes to write and review a game. There's a lot that goes into it, and I will not ensure that all of my thoughts and opinions on the game that I'm reviewing can be easily disregarded and summed up into a meaningless number. Secondly, I feel like review scores actually make people dumber. Now, Barry, you might say, that's kind of a radicalistic thing to say, isn't it? Well, think about it for a second. Let's say you're talking to a friend about a game you dislike. Say he loves it and you two are arguing. Now you're telling him that you don't like the mechanics of the game. You didn't like the unstable frame rate and the graphics just didn't feel this era either. And for a game like this, you expected more. Now instead of rebuttaling with an intellectual counter, he simply says, Polygon gave it a 9.5. Okay, who cares what Polygon gave it? I didn't like the mechanics. Yeah, well IGN gave it a 9, so the mechanics are fine. What? No, there's a serious problem with the game. There are no issues with a game that IGN rated 9.7. Now if Polygon, IGN, and all these other lazy journalists had written a review and removed the stupid number, how do you think this guy would have had to reply? Well, he would have actually had to read the article and gain enough knowledge to form an actual opinion, which, again, is why I won't condense my thoughts into a number. It's almost like I'd be discrediting myself and asking people to use my name in the name of ignorance. Now, if you like review scores, that's fine. They can be a good way of quickly informing ourselves on how the journalists felt. Well, at least 5% of the time. Now, why do I say 5%? Because the other 95% of game journalists are being paid off, remember? So even this is not helpful. If you like them, again, That's fine. There isn't anything wrong with that, but if you use the number to argue that the game is good, you just might not realize how corrupt this journalist system is. Let me finish off with this. You know those commercials that advertise the cleaning products? Every commercial will tell you that their product kills 99.9% of all germs and bacteria, which of course is physically impossible, but whatever. This is what they say. Well, how in the world do you know if that product is even any good if every single commercial for every single cleaning product tells you that their product will clean 99.9% of germs? Similarly, if every game is a 9.5, how do we know what games are actually good? It's time we shy away from this corrupt game journalism crap and start reading again. I hear journalists like Jim Sterling and Total Biscuit write really good reviews, like solid 10 out of 10s. Bye guys.